Hi, everyone. Welcome to the IDK Show. I'm Cindy.
Hey, everyone. I'm John. Thanks for joining us. Cindy, what is the IDK Show?
So the IDK Show is a podcast that does deep dives into what people in Web3 are building. A lot of it does focus on people that have connection to Taiwan because the IDK Show stems from Bu Zhi DAO. This Bu Zhi DAO is a community of builders, enthusiasts, founders in Web3. So it's a very cool space where we share, educational resources, help onboard more people into Web3, and just have fun within this community. So yeah, very excited about the show. Who do we have today?
Yeah, love it. Today we're joined by Hsuan Lee. Hsuan Lee is the co-founder and CEO of Portto. Portto is building a very cool, friendly onboarding process for crypto newbies called the Blocto wallet. Hsuan is ex-Yahoo, ex-Agoda, and ex-Cobinhood, where he was the VP of engineering, but he has been in the Web3 crypto space since 2015, and he's here to drop some alpha on lessons he's learned, growth that he's had, and all the cool things that are coming down the pipeline. So thank you for joining us on another edition of the IDK Show. Let's get to it.
All 100 of us. You've got friends here.
So everyone, please welcome Mr. Hsuan Lee. What's up, Hsuan?
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, man, we are excited to have you on another episode of the IDK Show. It's been really cool, man. We just got to see a little bit about what you're building in the Web3 space and what you're doing with Portto and Blocto. And so yeah, I was hoping you could kind of start us off with a high level of what are you building in the space right now?
Okay, yeah, happy to be here and introduce our stuff and myself. Portto is the company that I started in 2019. And since we started, we have been focusing on making blockchain simple. So like I have been in this space for quite some time. Like I started working on blockchain on Web3 since 2015. And I've been doing various stuff. Like I joined one of the largest blockchain technology company in Taiwan in 2017, and we did crypto exchange and layer 1 protocol. But when we started Portto in 2019, we have been focusing on the user experience aspect because we are like strong believers in the long-term value of blockchain, but it's a pity to see that it can only be used in like speculation or like adopted by a very small group of people. And I think that like once more people learn more about how it works and what value it can bring to the world, like people can make better use of it. Yeah, so we want to bring more users into the space. And one of the biggest obstacle that's stopping it is user experience. So most of the applications, blockchain-based applications back in 2019, or even now, are very difficult to use for average users. Yeah, so they like just setting up a wallet may take like a couple of hours. They have to understand how seed phrase works, and they have to go to an exchange, purchase some native token to pay for the gas fee, and it has kept a lot of users like outside of the door of Web3. And yeah, it's a pity. So we have been focusing on making this onboarding experience, on making this user experience as simple, as easy as it can be since our first day at Portto. So Blocto is the experience, the wallet that we built to serve this purpose. So we majorly provide two functionalities. One of them is a mobile wallet app, and the other is SDKs that can get plugged into any web app, any mobile app, either on iOS or Android, or games that are built with Unity. So in these partner applications, users don't really even have to download a Chrome extension or a mobile app. they can just go to these application and have the like wallet experience embedded directly in there. And they can set up a wallet within like 10 seconds and start using these applications. Because like in order for Web3 to actually grow, like people don't come because they want to use blockchain. People come because of the functionalities or benefits that blockchain provides. So yeah, so we focus on working with applications that actually provide other value than token or NFTs. But like token and NFT is just an additional value added to these games or social apps. And we help make this experience as seamless as possible.
Yeah, I just love that. And so kind of thinking about that in terms of using SDKs and kind of going into other, that's like having games. Let's say you're playing, Fortnite or something. Ideally, you could have your in-game wallet. So you don't need a separate plugin. It doesn't need to have a Chrome extension, like you said, or whatever extension. And then how would you get currency onto that wallet? Do you still have to go through exchanges? So what's kind of the on-ramp, off-ramp of that?
Okay. So the idea is that the user might not even notice that there's a wallet, or they might not even notice there's like token or NFTs in it. So so the onboarding should be like, so compared to most of the other GameFi applications out there that are focusing more on the finance aspect, we're working with like the GameFi projects that are focusing more on the gaming aspect. Take like World of Warcraft, WoW, for example. Like it has built a very successful economy in game, even before Web3 is a thing or token is a thing. And yeah, so people play with it because of the story, because of the world they construct. And then like when they put more time into it, like they start to realize there's a like auction mechanism in it, there's an ecosystem in it, and you can actually make some money from it, but it's not the main purpose of the game. Yeah, so so for the games that we work with, it's kind of like a similar experience. They start with the game, and at some point they may want more like scarce assets in the game, or they got some very rare character, very rare item that they want to like trade or like make some money out of it. And that's when they start experience the blockchain aspect of this game. Yeah, so for the users, they don't really have that much, they don't really feel the blockchain that much. Like they just feel that, okay, so now this asset, this gold coin or this crystal that I earned in the game can somehow get tapped into other marketplaces or other mechanism in the world that I can actually trade it or like send it to my friends so they can accelerate the growth. Yeah, so that's the kind of experience that we're looking to provide. They don't really need to learn about token or even gas fee in the process. They just feel that they connected their game account to their email, and with that email, they can access this like additional wallet or additional place to hold their assets. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I totally agree with that. I think Blocto and crypto applications need to be user first. It kind of reminds me of, like back when I guess the internet first started or AI first like kind of came out, it all is a buzzword at the moment. So websites will like promote that as if it's a feature. But to the user, like you said, they don't need to know that they're really on the blockchain. What they really want is that the ability to kind of like transfer those tokens like somewhere else if needed, or just, have less of a barrier into accessing the game or the application that they're using. I don't know if you had any follow-up questions, John, but I kind of wanted to learn more about Hsuan Lee's history, like his backstory, or like you'd like to say, his origin story.
I love the origin story.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yep, sure. So yeah, I graduated as a computer science major, and I have been working as a software engineer since And yeah, I've always wanted to start my own company, but I don't want to do it right after I graduate. So I went to different companies and at different scale to learn their best practice and learn more about like what obstacles a company may face in their various stages. So I went to, for example, like Yahoo, I went to Agoda, I went to 17 Media, and then in 2015, I started to work in blockchain, and I'm really fascinated by it because as a computer science major, I learned about a lot of like more theoretical stuff in the field. For example, like distributed systems, cryptography, VM, and blockchain seems to like integrate all of them together and provide a very valuable platform that can empower a lot of different use cases. So yeah, so I was really fascinated. Initially, I started to do some side project in the Ethereum ecosystem. And then in 2017, I joined one of the largest blockchain technology company in Taiwan. It's called Cobinhood. So it's it's actually the first zero trading fee crypto exchange in the world. As you might be able to tell from the name, it's sort of supposed to be the crypto Robin Hood. Yeah, so I joined Cobinhood in 2017 as the VP of engineering, and I oversaw the development of the crypto exchange. And at one point, like in 2017, 18, we were among like the top 10 exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume, like among like hundreds of exchanges out there. And so we worked with a lot of different projects in the world, and we see that they do have a good potential to actually change the world in various aspects. But one of the biggest problem that is stopping that from happening is the scalability of the layer one protocol back in 2018, because there weren't that many layer one protocols as compared to now. And the common TPS for these chains are like 20 or 50, like 50 transactions per second. If you just want to provide like a payment system like Visa, at least you have to provide like thousands of TPS. And in their peak time, in the peak time of Visa, they might have to process up to like 20,000 or 50,000 transactions per second. But blockchain technology back then is not capable of doing that. So we also built our own layer one protocol. So basically it supports all the functionalities on Ethereum, but we refine the consensus algorithm. We refine the way that the nodes communicate with each other, and we can do like 12,000 transactions per second back in 2018. And it was one of the fastest chain back then. Yeah, but unfortunately, the previous company was dissolved since the founder and some of the investors had a very strong disagreement on like where the company is heading. So eventually they decided to dissolve the company back in 2019. Yeah, so that is where I met my co-founder for this current company. So Edwin, he was in charge of ecosystem building back in the previous company, and I was in charge of the technical aspect. So yeah, we decided that we still want to do our part in this space. So we started the company in 2019, and along with a couple of other engineers from the previous company. Yeah, so initially it was 6 people that started Blocto or Portto. And yeah, and now we are a team of like 40 something people, and we're looking to get to probably 50 or 60 by the end of this year.
Awesome. Yeah, what great story there. You had me at when you talked about you guys kind of innovated a new consensus layer. Mm-hmm. So was that like an EVM that you built as like a layer 2, or did you guys design your own blockchain?
Yeah, so it's a layer 1, but it is EVM compatible. So it's sort of like what Polygon or like BNB chain is doing, or Avalanche, but I would say probably better, like in terms of performance. Yeah, but well, it does not exist now. So we had a couple of papers issued for our consensus algorithm, and it's quite different. So yeah, so to be a little bit more techy,
I was like, yes, go.
yeah. So we had like multiple chains or multiple nodes issuing the blocks at the same time, but we have a way to find the total ordering of the various nodes coming from various blocks coming from various nodes, and then eventually squash them into like a total order. So when they create nodes, when they process transactions, they can do it in parallel, but later, like it will just become like a single chain without sharding and providing 12,000 transactions per second. And like each of these transactions can be processed within 3 seconds. Yeah, so like, for example, Ethereum, you have to wait around like 20 seconds for a block to be processed. So your transaction appears in a block at about 20 seconds after you send it out. And then you have to wait for like 30 other blocks for your transaction to be finalized, because there's still a possibility that it can be replaced and the original block becomes an orphan block. So you have to wait like 10 minutes before this transaction is actually finalized and won't be replaced by other different blocks. But for our chain, like the finality time was 3 seconds, and we can like process much more transactions per second. And yeah, so it actually enables a lot of different use cases, or more like real life use cases. It has the capability to support these kind of use cases.
Love it. Yeah, I'm just thinking about, how were you guys solving for like DDoS attacks though? I mean, essentially, so all the nodes are building out parallel chains, but and then whatever you're using to compile all that. But what if there was bad actors that were just kind of spamming the network? Would it know how to, would the security level know how to kind of sift through that?
So we adopted like a random sortition mechanism from like Algorand and from like Dfinity. So basically there can be thousands of nodes waiting to produce blocks, but like at any time we will like randomly choose like I think when we launched the testnet, it was like 10. So 10 nodes from these. You can calculate the possibility that all these 10 nodes, or at least like 1/3 of these 10 nodes, are all bad actors. We managed to keep this possibility low. So it's taken care of.
Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like, is that the Byzantine problem, right? Where you're kind of trying to constantly prove that not everyone is acting in bad faith right there. Yeah. Well, very cool. So in terms of Portto though, and are you guys building on a layer 1?
Yeah, so we are actually partnering with a couple of different layer 1s. And so one of our partner is Flow. We are currently the largest wallet on Flow, and also like 85% of the stakers or delegators on the Flow network that are staking their Flow token for rewards are staking through us in Blocto wallet and on our node. We're sort of like the largest wallet in the Flow ecosystem right now. But we also work with a couple of other ecosystems, including like Solana, Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, BNB chain, and Tron. And we're working with a new one right now, and yeah, it's going to launch soon, but yeah, we have not disclosed yet.
Yeah,
I know. I was like,
yeah. So the idea is that compared to other wallets, we focus more on the application side, but less on the finance side of the use cases. We work with blockchain ecosystems that want to appeal to these kind of audience as well. So if they want to focus on games, focus on social, or focus on like Web2 converting Web2 corporates to adopt Web3 technology, we are there to help. And we prioritize our partnership with chains according to like their tendency in this.
Yeah, that's very cool. And like as a wallet, you probably get the firsthand view of what users are doing and also what L1s or L2s are building for users. Is there any, I guess, trend that you can see coming out of like use cases in crypto that is better for, I guess, mass adoption?
Yeah, I think I'm a strong believer in like games or GameFi, like because it's not too sensitive. It's not in the way of like banks or governments. Like it's games, but it can demonstrate what blockchain or what Web3 can do, and you can experiment like DAO or economy in games, and it's engaging. Like it has the potential to like keep users there for a long time. So yeah, so games are like always one of our focus on in collaboration and partnership. And so the way our partners do games are like they're less sexy in in the bull market. So they tend to like they don't grow as fast as other like GameFi projects out there that are focusing more on the finance aspect. But when there's a bearish market like it is right now, they are less affected at the same time. We see it like in a lot of our partners. They don't really grow that exponentially in a bullish market, but they don't die out in a bearish market. They just keep growing steadily. Yeah, so I think these are the applications because it takes them more time to build actually. So if you want to build a AAA game, if you want to build a game that is actually fun to play, it takes a larger team and it takes more time. But a lot of them are happening, and I think I would bet that the next bullish market can very likely be driven by these more engaging or more complete experiences that can get more users that haven't tried out blockchain yet.
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well right now. A lot of the consulting work I'm doing, a lot of people are focusing on, like you said, the gaming aspect, but also, like educational aspects and how it can be less speculative for the next, especially during the bear, but for the next bull, it's like, hey, actually, there can be fun speculation and degenning going on in a lot of the DeFi plays, but if we really want to have sustainable growth, as you're talking about, yeah, we need to create user experiences that are they don't care what kind of market you're in, and so I like that you guys are kind of looking at that as well. Just a question we love to ask here too on the IDK show is just taking some maybe advice as a founder. Now you decided to start a company. I'm sure you've been dealing with all sorts of things, but yeah, could you kind of take us through, how's it been? Is there any advice you can give to other people thinking about founding? But yeah, any advice you can share with potential founders?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I have been in the space since 2015, and I have seen a couple of ups and downs, bulls and bears. And I think one of the biggest advice I would give is to believe in what you're doing. So a lot of people lose their faith in bearish market, and they just give up. They and go into other industries but the most successful projects out there are created in bearish markets, like when there is like less competition and you can just focus on building your own stuff, and you don't really have to like keep FOMOing all the opportunities out there, and you can focus on actually building something cool. And it's kind of like adversity shapes a better character, or like shapes a better company, because if you can keep it together in a bearish market, then when the next bullish market comes, you're ready, you're like in a better shape, and you have the infrastructure ready to capture the opportunities. So yeah, so one of the biggest advice I would give is to believe in what you're doing. A bullish market is great. A bullish market gets more users into the space, and there are a lot of opportunities there. And actually, we grow a lot in the last energy bull, like since 2021. So yeah, we have been growing by more than 70% each month throughout the entire 2021. So yeah, it's exciting, but we couldn't do it if we haven't like got all the things we need in 2019. So back in 2019 and 20, we have been doing a lot of user research, doing a lot of market research, and we have been trying out different ways to keep users or to attract users, and all this made it possible for us to actually grow in 2021. So yeah, so believe in what you're doing and think long term.
Yeah, that makes sense. 2021, that's also when Flow, Dapper Labs launched NBA blockchain, NBA Top Shot. That was those were crazy times. But yeah, as a wallet, and like you said, building all those features and finding out what user wants. I don't know. I'm sure this is something that we can see like through using Blocto, but maybe what is like a main feature that you've seen that users are really looking for when they're trying to interact with, apps or crypto itself?
I think it would be interoperability. So I would think of a wallet as your identity in the Web3 space. So like it's not fragmented as the Web2 space. So like in Web2, you would go to a website and you would sign up for a Google account, and then you would sign up a Facebook account, and you enter your information multiple times, and they won't share this information with one another, because these are the data of the users, are their core assets in the company. But in Web3, you control your data, and you control like who you authorize this information to, and it's kept with you, and you can use the same identity across various applications. And yeah, and I think this is one of the most powerful thing in Web3. So you can use the same identity or same wallet that keeps your assets in different places. So that makes like interoperability possible, or like that makes a world like Ready Player One possible, where like you can bring your assets from different games, from different game issuers, and into other worlds. And this is actually beneficial for all of the gamers and the users, but it was not possible because in the Web2 game, because they like all these like Blizzard, Valve, they will want to build their own platform, and nobody would just give up their value and just join a platform that's built by another company. So yeah, so this is made possible in Web3, and I think this is pretty exciting.
Right, and I feel like that ties to what you mentioned about your SDK and how it can be used across different platforms. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about what you're building there?
Okay, yeah, so the focus of us right now is to bring more users into this Web3 space. So we want to make this as seamless as possible. So we want to provide Web3 functionalities, but with a Web2 experience. So when users sign up, they can sign up with their emails within 10 seconds. And so initially their keys are kept with us in our key management service. And later, when they learn more about blockchain and they learn more about Web3 or like private key, seed phrases, they can take ownership of their accounts completely, but in the later stage. Yeah, so they don't have to learn all this stuff from day one, because on day one, they don't really care that much about keeping these keys for themselves anyway, because they don't have any assets yet, and they just want to try out these games quickly. So this is actually more similar to the freemium kind of experience that we have now, because people want to try out stuff before they actually think about paying for it or putting more effort into it. But right now in Web3, most of the applications or most of the wallets are forcing users to learn too much. You're forcing them to pay on day one to purchase gas fee in order to start using any application. Yeah, so we think this is a more seamless experience, seamless onboarding experience. But still, like if they learn more about blockchain, they learn more about decentralization, and they feel that this is something that they care about, they can do that conversion in a later stage. So our SDKs is sort of like the first stop, like it's the on the top of our funnel. Like it helped bring more users into the space, and then when they like these, they can download our app and to manage their assets more securely, more conveniently, and they can discover more applications that they can make use of their assets. Yeah, so this is sort of like the approach that we're taking to get more users into our ecosystem or into the Web3 space.
Yeah, I love that funnel idea too. And you know, you touched on how much you guys focused in 2019 and 2020 on user experiences and actually what does the target customer want. And I think, you know, that's really showing is you're right. Most people, they don't want to commit to something right away. They want to freemium. They want to try it out, you know, and then if they want to use it, they'll go further. So I think that's great that you guys are doing that. And in terms of your guys' growth, you know, as a company, you're based in Taiwan. Is the team fully in Taiwan? Are you guys open to, you know, global partner or global employees? How are you guys thinking about growth like that?
Yeah. So currently the team is mostly in Taiwan, like 99% of our employees are in Taiwan. And we do have a couple of community managers or developer advocates that are scattered out there, but yeah, mostly it's in Taiwan. But we are actually thinking about setting up an office in the United States in the near future, because like most of our partners are actually in US, Canada, Japan, Korea, Russia, and they're pretty scattered. Yeah, so we're thinking about setting up offices in different places.
I love it. Well, I wish you nothing but success, you and the team, and I'm really looking forward to what you guys keep building. But I was hoping we could kind of end the show with talking a little bit about DAOs. You know, we all are in a wonderful DAO, kind of focusing on the ecosystem of Taiwan, Bu Zhi DAO. And so I would love if you could kind of share again, how did you find out about Bu Zhi DAO? And, you know, what do you think is kind of the future for DAOs in the whole Web3 ecosystem?
Yeah, I remember, I think it's Cindy that introduced me to Bu Zhi DAO. And yeah, and I really like it in here. These are enthusiasts that are like looking forward to the growth of Web3 and like keeping an eye out for like different opportunities out there. I think this is a like very healthy community. And I think in terms of DAO, we do have a DAO for ourselves as well. So we kind of vote what our focus is are in the Blocto ecosystem, which chain we integrate with next, or like which feature we prioritize. And I think this is one of the most powerful thing that Web3 provides. So in a Web2 company, you build a product, and so for example, like if you're building a social network for in Web2, like at some point, these users become your assets, like in Facebook. Like you make use of the data, and you don't really have to share with the users. But in Web3, like you kind of grow the network effect together, and because a lot of the value of this product or the network is actually provided by the people that are participating in it, and it is only fair that you share this profit with the like early supporters, with the community as you grow. So and And actually this helps the community grow even faster because like you are aligned, your interests are aligned, and they are more willing to share this information with their friends, with their family. And so if your idea is like seem valuable by the community, then you can grow very fast and you can share the value generated from it with the community. So I think this is a very powerful thing that Web3 enables.
So when it comes to the DAOs and protocols or wallets or dApps, how do you make that decision on like what can be voted on by users? What should really just come from like the internal team?
Yeah, so we take a more like progressive approach. So initially we were controlling like a larger portion of the token. So like initially the voting comes from us, but in 2 years from now, like the community will take like the majority of the token. So then like it will be the community that is decided, that is making the proposal, that is generating these ideas. It should transition in a more like step-by-step kind of way. So because initially like you believe in something, like as a founding team of this of the DAO, you believe in something and you have to guide it through the initial process and attract the right people to participate. Because if you just decentralize too early, then like it will be sort of like a mob governance. Like so people with different ideas may like just direct this ecosystem, direct this DAO to somewhere very random. But like if you can do your part and like guide the ecosystem to a place that you feel is valuable, and you attract the right people into it along the way, and then like at a later stage, these people know the idea you're trying to focus on, and they're very likely to share the similar idea, and then like they can like do their part and have different creativity to bring this ecosystem to make it more sustainable and make it shared by the community. So yeah, I think like any DAO may have to experience this kind of transition process.
Yeah, I think that's something we all can, we've all seen. I think finding the right incentive structures to, you know, make people care about governance and writing proposals and stuff like this. I think, you know, we're in such the early stages of this, but I like how you're thinking though about, you know, kind of transitioning to the community and making it truly decentralized. But are you guys thinking about how you can do that in terms of governance? Like, do you want your token to actually be the governance token? If it's just like an inflationary asset? Have you guys kind of thought about how we can rethink governance tokens around that?
Yeah, for our Blocto token, it's actually the same. So Blocto token is the governance token in our ecosystem, but I think, well, a lot of people are learning about this and learning about how governance token or it should be like a multi-token kind of ecosystem, kind of mechanism or economy. And I think as we experiment with different ways to do this, there will be more knowledge like accumulated, and people will like learn more about like how the token should be structured. I wouldn't say we are expert in this yet. I do read a lot of like pretty insightful articles from either like A16Z or like a lot of growth hacking experts that are now focusing on the growth hacking of Web3 tokens. Yeah, so there are a lot constantly like interesting ideas generated and analyzed. And as we grow, we would learn more about how to build actually a healthy and growing ecosystem.
So I had a question about that, because you also mentioned earlier how Blocto likes to keep it very user-friendly in the beginning, and once you learn more, you can interact more with the wallet in terms of, you know, moving the keys over, diving deeper into Web3. Is there kind of like educational initiatives coming from Blocto, or are you kind of just like allowing users to explore crypto how they want?
Yeah, so that is also something that we have been working on since 2019 or early 2020. So there is a section of, we call it blockchain guide in Blocto app. So for starter, we like introduce them to how blockchain works and how tokens work, how different blockchains work, and how they can get their hands on the first like stable coin, and how they can start experimenting with different applications, either it's finance or it's game. Yeah, I think it is something really crucial for us to do, or like for any company already in the Web3 space to do, to get more users on board. Yeah, so like a lot of people are like working on it, and we are also doing our part. And yeah, so that is something that we have always been focusing on doing.
Awesome. Well, unfortunately, we're coming to about the end of the show here. It's been great to have you on, Hsuan. Thank you so much for your insight, your wisdom, and really just being a great kind of guide in the space right now for all the ups and downs you've been through personally, and with the whole market. But where can people maybe find more about Blocto? Where can they find more about you on social media?
Yeah, so they can go to our Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Blocto app, BLOCTO app. Yeah, so you can find the information there, and the entrance to our Discord, the entrance to our tech docs. Yeah, so you can start your journey, your blockchain journey with Blocto from there.
I actually kind of want to start a new segment, Indy. Is there a quick high level of the name Blocto that's interesting?
Oh, yeah. So initially,
new segment.
Blocto. Yeah. So initially, the name Blocto is coming from a Bloctopus. So we want to become the octopus in blockchain space. By octopus, we mean that so it has 8 legs and it is smart. And so the idea is that we like grab different components or different services in the Web3 space and then put them into one and serving our users, because we don't really build a lot of the infrastructure, but we are very familiar with the different components that are available in the space since we have been here for quite some time. So we think more from a user experience perspective. So for example, when user buy an NFT, what are the services they would need to make that happen? So we integrate with fiat on-ramps, we provide our wallet service, and we provide seamless SDK experience so users can get their hands on their first NFT pretty easily. So yeah, so initially it was a Bloctopus, but it's too long, so we just shortened it to Blocto.
I love that. That's great.
Bloctopus, I love it. Nice. Awesome, Hsuan. Well, thank you again for joining us on the IDK show, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All 100 of us. You've got friends here.
你知不知道？你在不在？
我不知道。